Hi, this is Morningstar Talks, and I'm back with another video. For this video, I wanted to share the topic of Halloween. So, Halloween is October 31st every year. Halloween is a holiday that is basically built around everyone. It has its context of giving out candy to kids and little kids being able to dress up in Halloween costumes. And a lot of times, little kids enjoy that because they get free candy and they like the idea of being able to dress up, which growing up, I also found it very intriguing, and my mom would tell me that we couldn't celebrate it. I didn't understand why that was. I just knew that I wanted to be able to participate like everyone else on Halloween, and I just didn't understand why. Now that I'm older, now I can definitely see that Halloween is definitely a holiday that Christians or people that believe in God should not be celebrating. And it's not necessarily the candy and little kids dressing up that causes harm, but the harm comes from older people who dress up in very provocative clothing that basically take this holiday to reveal themselves or hide their identity, to be able to drink and party and just basically do things that God has called us not to do, right? Because in the Ten Commandments, it says that you shall not fornicate, right? So the fact that adults take this holiday to basically indulge in things that God has not called us to do, and then somehow think that this holiday is worthy to be celebrated is just far from the truth. Not only that, but it does have dark origins as well. In Halloween, it's also a time where people do witchcraft, they do rituals, and it's the day where it is believed where the spiritual veil between the living and the spiritual world is the thinnest. God tells us not to associate with anything related to witchcraft, divination, or just ritual things. And so I wanted to do something different this time, and this time I want to share my screen. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to search up Halloween, right? So you have pumpkin, which obviously have an evil face. You have kids in costumes, right? Pretty innocent. This doesn't look innocent because it's meant to scare. This is what I mean about provocative clothing. This this just is a full-blown picture of why we should not be celebrating like that. You think that God is pleased by people promoting this type of content? Like I said, some of these are cheesy, but it's just everything, the origin of everything, right? The origin of the Grim Reaper, the origin of why we're even celebrating this stuff is the issue. All right. So I searched up this right here. What does the Bible say about Halloween? Pagan origins. Halloween's roots are in pagan festivals like the Celtics Samhain. I don't know if you say it right, but like seeking to appease spirits and honoring the dead, which obviously we know that that's not okay. Association with evil. The Bible warns against engaging in worthless deeds of evil and darkness, and many Christians see Halloween's themes of ghosts, witches, and the undead as promoting these evils. Scriptural prohibitions, verses like Deuteronomy 18:9 through 12, warn against adopting the practices of other nations and prohibit sorcery, divination, and spiritualism, which some interpret as applying to Halloween. Dimming of spiritual light, engaging with evil, even in a lighthearted way, can compromise a Christian spiritual light. Okay, anyways, so that's just a little If you do your research, you'll clearly see that Halloween is rooted in pagan origins, and it's not even associated with anything that God promotes in his word. Like for example, like me, I have a son, and it's going to be hard for him to understand that he has to be set apart, that he has to have a life that is different from the world's, and that includes like not celebrating these festivities that everyone else does. But God has called us to be set apart, and he definitely mentions that in Leviticus about being set apart. There's a lot of rules associated with that, and the one that I remember is basically like cutting the fat from the meat, right? And that's not necessarily like just a weird thing that he has called us to do, but it's more so, I believe, it's more so of the example that allows us to be able to see what it means to be set apart. And repeating this in your daily life, it helps to remember of what it means to be set apart. I think everyone is gonna be able to reflect and think with the information that I'm saying is not applicable to them, or they have a different way of seeing it. But I think that we need to stop putting our emotions and our feelings into what is right and what is wrong. And we need to turn to God and read his word about what is right and what is wrong. And I definitely believe that Halloween is not something that Christians or people that are believing in God and following God should not be celebrating. And I'm making this video before Halloween so that you can be able to reflect and decide this year that I'm not going to follow in the footsteps of the world. I'm going to be different. I'm going to set myself apart. I'm going to make a difference in the sacrifice this year to stop celebrating these pagan holidays, including Halloween, so that I can grow closer to my relationship with God. Because I think that's the most important thing, is a transformation of the heart. And I know that it's not easy. I don't know how long it's been since I've stopped celebrating Halloween, but I think that one step at a time, and this is the opportunity, if you haven't done so before, to stop promoting this holiday with just celebrating it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. God bless.